We're going to give everyone a couple minutes to hop on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. If you're joining, go ahead and grab a mat if you have one. And other than that, if you have a set of yoga blocks or a pillow, you can go ahead and grab it. But everything we do today, we can do with just our own bodies. So we'll go ahead and get started in a couple minutes. Also, if you have water or you don't have water, go ahead and grab that. Let's take a big sip, get nice and hydrated before our practice. And while you wait, you can just take a couple stretches, hang out, take a nap, getting into that nice, peaceful place before we move together. And we'll give it another minute or so. All right, it's 5:30. So let's go ahead and get started. You can come into a seated position of your choice. My name is Laurel. I'm a yoga instructor, Pilates instructor, group X instructor, and personal trainer. And I've been working at the Jonathan Club for over 2 years now. I absolutely love it. It's one of the favorite places that I teach. I work at both Town and Beach Club. And I'm here with you live today in my living room, which has been converted into a yoga studio in Santa Monica. So greetings, welcome. We have an hour of power flow yoga. I will do my best to make this accessible for any body, any type, but you know your body best. So if something doesn't feel right, don't do it, modify, you know yourself best. What I give are just suggestions of what to do. So with that being said, setting up your space so that you have room to move. If you have yoga blocks or a pillow, you can grab them. If not, it doesn't matter. Everything that we need to do today, we can do with our bodies. And so with that being said, let's take a couple minutes and just settle into our space, settle into our breath and our bodies. So go ahead and let your hands rest on your thighs. And if you're comfortable with it, let your eyes close. Let's take some time just to kind of tune out of the rest of the world and tune into ourselves. So starting with breath, start to observe the quality of your breath. A sensation of air as it enters in through your nose and starts to move its way down into your lungs and all the way into your belly. Take a couple deep breaths here, allowing your belly to fill all the way up with air and release each time you take a breath. And as you breathe here, let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Let your fingers and toes relax. And start to notice what you feel on your skin here. Maybe you feel warmth, coolness, a breeze, tingling, just observing what's going on in your body. You might hear a little bit of background noise. I do have neighbors. It's part of our practice. We're just going to tune back into our body and our breath if we hear distractions. Just observing your body without any judgment, without any attachment, just noticing, I feel warm. Maybe even going deeper, noticing any feelings. I feel happy, sad, anxious, hungry. Checking in with yourself and your body. What's going on with you today? And then lastly, while you're here, set an intention for your practice. What is it that brought you here today? There's no right or wrong answer. Just coming into our movement, our practice with a purpose. And as we start to bring ourselves back into the room, give your fingers and toes a wiggle. And start to blink your eyes open if they're closed. And let's take a couple breaths together. So go ahead and take one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. We're going to take what's called in yoga a 3-part breath. So the first part, we're going to fill the space under our belly. Inhale. Second part, fill the chest. Third part, sip in even more air. And with an audible sigh, let it go. Let's do it again. First part, fill the belly. Second part, feel the chest rise. Sip in even more air. Audible sigh, let it go. And take one more on your own. Good, and then go ahead and release the hands down. Bring them back to the thighs and just move your shoulders around. I call it shrug and hug. We shrug our shoulders all the way up to our ears and we hug them back behind us. We shrug them up and we hug them back. Starting to find some movement in the upper body. And then starting to work our way into our hips. Root your fingers into your mat or your floor space. Take a big breath in, lift the chest up. And as you exhale, walk the fingers forward, let your spine round. Letting the weight of the upper body pull you into a stretch. Maybe you're just shaking the head yes, releasing the back of the neck. And then after your next breath, walk the fingers back towards the body, switch across the legs. So it's gonna feel a little funky. And then same thing, fingertips into the mat, big breath in, lift the chest. And as you exhale, walk forward, let yourself fold into it, shoulders relax. And give your head a shake no. And then start to walk your hands back towards your body. I also have a kitten who really wants to be doing yoga, so if you hear him meowing, that's what's going on there. Let's start to make our way onto our hands and knees. So we call this tabletop position. Stacking shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Taking a couple rounds of cat-cow to start to open up the spine. So as you inhale, start to lift your chest and your tailbone, dropping the belly towards the floor. And as you exhale, round the spine, pulling the navel in towards the spine. So as we inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, the tailbone. And exhale, release, round out. And take a couple more rounds here on your own, starting to link breath to movement. So that's a key component of what we do in yoga, is how can we use our breath to get a little bit deeper into our practice. Good. And take one more round. And then we'll meet with a nice flat back and start to reach your right arm forward. Imagine you're shaking someone's hand. Hi, I'm Laurel, nice to meet you. And then extend your left leg back behind you. So we do different things in yoga. Sometimes we use movement to create strength, and sometimes we use stillness. So building strength into the stillness here as you reach your fingertips forward, your toes back. And then moving into the spine again, as you inhale, bring elbow to knee underneath the body. And exhale, lengthen it all out. So starting to use the core. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, lengthen out. And we'll take 2 more, gazing down at the mat. Back of the neck is long. And last one. And then lengthen everything out and hold it. And in your next breath, release the hand and the knee down to the mat. On the tops of the feet, start to circle your hips around to the left. And really take up a lot of space here, dropping the hips down to the mat, and then bringing the butt back and around. And as you go through this movement, you might feel a lot of stiffness, tightness in your hips, maybe getting some pops and cracks. That is all totally okay as long as it's not painful. Yeah. And then start to bring yourself back through center. And let's circle the hips around to the right. And one more. And we'll come back through center and we'll work into the other side. So restacking the joints. This time we extend left arm forward, right leg back behind us, lengthening from fingertips and toes. And you can spread the fingers of the right hand to help build a little bit more supportive base here. And then once you feel strong, you can start to draw elbow to knee underneath the body and lengthen out. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, lengthen out. And we'll take 3 more. Last 2. And 1 more. Lengthen and hold. And then release the hand, the knee down to the mat. Tuck your toes under, hover your knees just 1 inch off the floor. And start to hold here in this hovered knee position. So building some heat in the legs, the thighs, as you press the floor away from you with your hands. And then start to shift your bottom back towards your heels and shift the weight forward. So notice that my knees aren't moving. I'm just shifting my bottom backwards and forwards. And this is power yoga, so we're going to do some strong work today, using our breath to get into it. Shift the weight forwards and hold it, and then press your hips up and back. First downward facing dog of the day. You can take a little bend in your knees to release some of the pressure from the lower back. And then take bends in alternating knees, pedaling out the legs, releasing the hamstrings. And then go ahead and drop the heels towards the mat, straightening the legs as much as you can. Give the head a shake, yes, releasing the neck. And take 5 breaths here. And I want you to think about the shape between your belly and your thighs. Continue to press your belly back towards your thighs, lifting your tailbone up towards the ceiling. And keeping those shoulders nice and active. All right. And then bend the knees, baby step, feet up to meet, hands will meet in the forward fold, top of the mat, drop opposite elbow, rock side to side, using the weight of the arms to pull you into a nice deep stretch, working our way up. And then switch the grip of the elbows, fold even deeper. And release the elbows, ragdoll, let everything hang, and as slowly as you can, roll yourself up to stand, 1 vertebrae at a time. We'll meet standing. All right. Once you come up, reach the arms up, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, lifting your chest up, gaze up for a back bend. Yes, good. Inhale, reach the arms up. And this time on the exhale, bring the arms out to the sides, dive forward, swan dive, forward fold. Bring your fingertips to your shins, rise halfway up and hold here for a moment. making sure that your spine is straight and your legs are straight. And then let everything go. So let's start to link our breath to a bit of movement. As you inhale, bring your fingertips to your shins, rise halfway. Exhale, let everything hang. On the inhale, we reach up, rise up, look up. Exhale, bend the elbows, back bend. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, bend your knees, walk back into a plank position, rooting the hands into the mat. And once we're in plank, start to shift your weight forward onto your tiptoes and then pull your heels back. Let's do it again. Shift your weight forward onto your tiptoes and hold here. Then drop the knees, the thighs, the belly, come all the way down into your stomach and press yourself up into low cobra. So small back bend to start to open up the low back as you squeeze your elbows in towards the midline of the body. Good. And come back down. Let's do it again. Press into the mat, lift your heart up, and bring it back down. And one more time, press into the mat, lift your heart up, option to hover your hands, maybe hug or your legs off the floor as we squeeze the elbows together, gazing down at the mat and breathing into the stillness here. Slight engagement of the glutes to protect your low back. 2 more breaths. Then release your legs, release your hands, tuck your toes, and use your core strength to lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. So we're gonna take all the movements that we just did. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit so you can see. And we're gonna build it into one big flow, linking breath to movement. And if for some reason something seems too fast or doesn't make sense, make it up. It's only yoga. Movement is movement. So in our downward facing dog, as you inhale, bend the knees, lift the hips. Bottom of the breath, step or hop, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, full release. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, you're going to ride your breath all the way down into your belly or top of a push-up, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend, lift your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do 2 more together. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the hips. Bottom of the breath, step or hop, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, release everything. Inhale, reach up, gaze up. Exhale, back bend, pull the elbows together. Inhale, reach up top. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, ride the breath into chaturanga or your belly. Inhale, back bend, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time. If you're familiar with it, you can go ahead and flow through it on your own. Otherwise, I'm right here with you. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, step or hop, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, roll up, reach up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take it down, either hovered or the bed. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Wonderful. Now, in your downward facing dog, start to lift your right leg up and back behind you. We call this 3-legged dog. Good. Now, start to pull your knee in towards your nose, shift forward into plank. Woo! All right, let's do it again. Kick it back, 3-legged dog. Knee into nose, shift forward into plank. Last one, kick it back. Pull the knee into the nose, step the right foot up, and then drop your back knee down, come into a low supported lunge. So once we're here, we're bending into the front knee, dropping the hips down towards the floor, bend into the elbows, find that same back bend we had standing in our lunge position. And let's take a few breaths here, opening up the back, lifting our heart, our chest up towards the ceiling. Good. All right. And start to reach the arms back up. Find your right arm, pull it back behind you, and pull your left arm forward, coming into a twist. We want to work towards pulling the shoulders in line with each other and squeezing our hips into the midline of the body for support. And after your next breath, start to reach the arms back up towards the ceiling. Big breath in. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, step back into plank position. Inhale here. Exhale, flow through the vinyasa. So part 1, part 2, and part 3. Now let's work into the other side. Lift the left leg up, 3-legged dog. As you shift forward, knee into nose, round the spine. Kick it up again. Pull that knee in, round out. Last time, kick it up. Draw the knee in again and hold it. Fire up your core. Pull the knee in even higher. Then step the foot up. Drop the back knee down. Rise up. Whoop. Low lunge. Now I want to keep bending into the front knee. Think hips down, chest up. So I can open up the front of my right thigh. And then if you want to take a back bend here, bring your palms together, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky. Good. And noticing if you're holding your breath, or maybe your breath has come a little bit more shallow. Feel the rise and fall of the chest, breathing a little bit deeper. And then coming into that twist, this time left arm back, right arm forward, working into the spine. And maybe looking over the back shoulder. And then start to reach the arms up, big inhale. Exhale, hands come down to mat, make your way onto your belly or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now in your downward facing dog, take 5 more breaths and use each exhale to press your hips up and back even more. And while you're here, I want you to find that L shape between your pointer finger and your thumb and press into that space to help you get your hips back even more. So that little extra leverage there. All right, now are we breathing? Making sure to still do that. All right. Now start to shift your weight forward into plank pose. And we're gonna do what I call the ups and downs. So option to drop your knees here. Otherwise, lower halfway down in chaturanga and hold. Now push back up. Now let's add breath. As you inhale, lower down halfway. Exhale, push back up. 2 more. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, back up. This time we lower halfway and hold. 3, 2, come all the way down into your belly. Untuck the toes and clasp the hands behind the back, lifting your heart, maybe your feet off the mat, coming into what we call locust pose. Good. And drawing the shoulder blades together. Taking a few breaths, back of the neck is long. And then tuck the toes, press yourself right back up into plank position. And back into downward facing dog. As you inhale, bend your knees, lift your hips. Bottom of the breath, step or hop, forward fold. Now in your forward fold, find your pointer finger and your middle finger. Make hooks and grab your big toes, pulling yourself into an even deeper hamstring stretch. And we want to let the jaw, the tongue relax here. Give your head a shake, no. And imagine the very top, the crown of your head melting down towards the floor, no matter how much flexibility you have or don't have here. So using the weight of the upper body to pull us into that stretch. And then go ahead and release the toes. Bring the fingertips to shins, rise halfway up, big breath in. And as you exhale, root the fingertips into the mat. Step your left foot back behind you, so I'm in runner's lunge. And then start to reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Coming into what we call dragonfly twist. So we're doing a lot of twisting and back bending today, movement of the spine. Okay, keep pulling the back heel back, maybe looking up over that top hand. And then start to drop your top hand back into runner's lunge. Set yourself up for stability and make your way into a full lunge. So we call this, what do we call this? High lunge. Good. Bending into the front knee, drop your hips down even lower. Now start to bring your hands to center. And moving into a twist again, hook your left arm on your right leg. I want to find a long line all the way from the crown of my head to my back heel. And I press my bottom arm into my leg to twist even deeper. Good. Now the hips, the legs are starting to feel a little bit of a burn here. They're working. Twist back up towards center. As you inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands come to mat, step back into plank. Now from here, last part of this sequence, we're gonna roll into the outer edge of our right foot, reach the right arm up for a side plank. We call this Vashisthasana. And once you're here, keep pressing your hips up. If you need a modification, you can drop your bottom knee. If you wanna do more, maybe lifting the top leg off the bottom leg. And we breathe. And on the next breath, drop the top hand down, make your way through a vinyasa or skip it straight up and back to downward facing dog. All right. Bend the knees, step or hop, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, full release. Good. Now coming on to the fingertips again. This time we step our right foot back behind us, coming into a runner's lunge. And then root the right hand into the mat, lifting the left arm for dragonfly twist. And I want to keep lifting my heart up towards the ceiling. All right. Go ahead and bring the top arm down. You can always scoot your foot over to the left for a little added element of stability. And then rise up again into high lunge. Good. So I'm on the toes of my back foot. I keep bending into that front knee. And if you want to do a little bit more here, you can even add in a back bend. Pulling the mat in opposite directions with your feet for traction. Reach the arms back up towards the ceiling. And then bring your palms together, this time twisting everything over to the left. And we can think of that front leg as kind of being a little booster, a little aid to help us bring the palms closer towards the center of the chest. And breathing. 2 more breaths here. Good. Come back through center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to mat, step back into plank. And this time we roll into the outer edge of the left foot for side plank on the left side. Hips are up, maybe gaze is up. And then after your next breath, drop the hand down, drop the knees down, and pull your butt back towards your heels for child's pose, letting it all release. Once you're here, go ahead and walk both hands over to the right side of the mat. Take left palm on top of right hand, breathing into the left side of the body. And then we'll walk both hands over to the left side of the mat, this time taking right palm on top of left hand, breathing into the right side of the body. And we actually have little baby muscles between our ribs. They're called intercostals, so we want to give those guys a nice stretch. And then start to walk the hands back through center. Shift the weight forward into tabletop. And then tuck the toes, hover the knees off the floor again. So back into that hover tabletop position. And if you'd like a little bit extra here, we're gonna add some leg extensions. So go ahead and kick the right leg back and set the foot down. Kick the left leg back and set the foot down. Keep marching side to side. And left leg. And if it's too much with the knees hovered, you can always drop the knees down towards the floor and do the same thing. Otherwise, knees stay 1 inch. We have 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step the feet hips distance apart. This time, give the head a shake, no. And then again, lift your right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. As you shift forward into plank, this time pull right knee into left elbow, so cross it underneath the body. And kick it back. Pull right knee into left elbow again, cross it under. And kick it back. This time, right knee into nose, and we hold. See if you can pulse your right knee into your nose. We have 5, 4, 3, 2. Step the right foot up, rise up. And we're gonna add the twist. This time, pull your right arm back behind you, left arm comes forward. Bending into that front knee, drop even lower. Squeezing your glutes, your hips into the midline of the body for stability. And as you start to come back up through center, bring your hands to heart again. Start to hinge forward, long line between the top of your head and your back heel. Dance onto the tiptoes of the back foot, and then maybe rise up into warrior 3. So pressing my heel and the top of my head in opposite directions. Lengthening out the spine where I can, pulling my collarbones forward. On the next breath, drop the back foot down into that high lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down to the mat, vinyasa. Let's rinse it out. Yeah, bend the knees, lift your hips, big breath in. Bottom of the breath, step or hop, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up, rise up. And this time on the exhale, we're gonna bring our hands together at heart center. Go ahead and let your eyes close for a moment. Shoulders fall away from the ears. And really press into your floor space or your mat with all 4 corners of your feet as you grow tall from the crown of your head. And as we do live in a city, you might notice sounds, distractions, things going on around you. See if you can notice them and start to bring your attention back into your breathing. Good, a few more. Good. And as we start to blink our eyes open, reach the arms up. And then bring the big toes together to touch and drop your bottom down into chair pose. Now sometimes I see some sneaky heels here. They start to lift off the floor. Keep your heels down to the mat. Let's move into it. As you inhale, rise up, arms reach back behind you. Exhale, drop right back into it. Inhale, we come up. Exhale, drop back down. 2 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, get your butt low. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, get low and hold it. Squeeze those knees together. Bring your hands together. Twist everything over to the right. Hooking arm on leg. Get into that twist. Keep sinking your butt down. We can do it. There we go. A little bit lower, a little bit lower. As you inhale, back through center. You know it's coming. Exhale, over to the left. Keep sinking your butt down. Go for that shake, going towards your edge, that little bit of strength that helps make us even stronger in our practice. As you inhale, come back through center. Exhale, forward fold. There you go. Let it go. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, vinyasa. 3 parts. We go down. Back bend. And hips up and back. Now we've got another side to do. This time, lift your left leg up and off the floor. As you shift forward, left knee, right elbow underneath the body. See if you can tap it. Inhale, kick it back. Exhale, pull it in. This time, inhale, kick it back. Exhale, knee to nose and hold. Pulse it in for 5, 4, 3, 2. Step the foot up. Rise up, crescent warrior. All right. And now, see if you can close your eyes here. Sometimes little adjustments to our practice can make it an entirely different experience. And then as you start to blink your eyes open, pull the left arm back, right arm comes forward for that twist. Good. Maybe sinking a little bit lower. All right, reach the arms back up. Bring the hands together at heart center. Start to hinge forward. And you can stay here or start to dance forward into warrior 3. And almost think little back bend here. Dropping your belly down towards the floor. Pulling the top of your head forward. That standing leg is straight and strong. Good. As you bend into the front knee, drop the back leg. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step back into plank position. Now we're going to do the ups and downs one more time. If you need to drop your knees, go for it. Inhale and plank. Exhale over halfway. Inhale, push back up. Exhale over. Inhale, push up. One more. Exhale over. Inhale, push up. This time, drop the knees and start to walk your arms forward, keeping hips stacked over the knees for a nice, juicy shoulder stretch. And I want to try and walk my fingertips forward so much that my heart melts towards the floor, but my elbows stay hovered off the mat. Good. Breathing into the space between the shoulder blades. One more breath. And start to walk the hands back towards the body. Tuck the toes, press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, baby step the feet up to meet the hands, forward fold. From here, come onto the fingertips and then drop your bottom down towards your heels. Make your way up into another chair pose. All right. Start to reach the arms back behind you. And then option to clasp the hands here, finding a little bit of a back bend in your chair pose. Now start to reach the arms up. As you rise up to stand, bring the right leg with you. And bring the hands down to the heart. So we're starting to work into balance. And once you're here, start to open that right leg out to the right and take the sole of the foot to some part of the inner thigh, coming into tree pose. And if you're feeling strong here, you can start to reach your arms up, grow those tree limbs. If you're feeling extra strong, you can look up between your hands, playing with balance. And I want you to really press the sole of your foot into your leg to help create extra stability. Yes. Bring your hands back through center. Bring the right knee into the chest. Now work with me here. We're going to start to, I'm going to switch legs to get into the same side. We're going to start to kick that leg back into warrior 3. There we go. All right, now drop the right foot down. Rise up into crescent warrior. It's weird doing this and looking at a screen. I'm like, forward, sideways, where are we going? And then drop the back heel, open up into warrior 2. And I'm going to switch sides so I can see everybody. There we go. Good. Stability in stillness. Bend into your front knee, straighten out the back leg, and then let your eyes close. We want to keep those arms really strong, but as you keep the wrists in line with shoulders, think about softening your shoulders. And see where you might be able to do a little bit less in the pose. We've done some really strong work. Where can we release something? 3 more breaths. Good. And as you start to blink your eyes open, straighten the front leg. Reach forward, hinge forward, come into triangle pose. So I want you to imagine that you're pulling your mat in opposite directions with your feet, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling. An option to take an extended triangle pose, reaching that top arm up and over. If you need even more today, take that bottom arm out as well. Imagine you're holding a beach ball. All right. Good. Now go ahead and drop that bottom hand and start to walk both hands over to the right as you pivot the feet to the right. And then take your pointer and middle finger again, grab your big toes and use the fingers to pull yourself into a wide-legged stretch. You can rock side to side here. And then release the toes, keeping the feet where they are. Take your fingertips and rotate them to face the back edge of your mat, your space, and start to walk your fingers through your legs however much you can. Releasing the jaw, releasing the tongue. And then go ahead and walk the fingers back through the legs. Walk both hands over to the left. Step back into plank. And either press the hips straight up and back or make your way through a vinyasa. Yeah, and once we find downward facing dog, step your feet hip distance again. And we're going to take what we call a lion's breath. So we'll take the first one, I'll walk you through it. We'll take a few of them here because they feel good. So take a big inhale through the nose and hold it. Sip in even more, fill all the way up. And then kind of lion's roar, audible sigh. Let's do it again. Big inhale through the nose and hold. Sip in even more. Lion's roar. Fantastic. Let's do the other side. I'm going to rotate around so I can face you guys. Bend the knees. Step or hop, top of the mat, forward fold. Roll on up to stand, one vertebrae at a time. This time, shift your weight into your right foot and pull the left knee into the chest. Left, take the sole of the foot to the inside of the leg. Even if your toes are on the floor, still better to try something. So working your way up the leg, wherever feels good for you today. Bringing our hands to heart. Option to grow your limbs again here. Or you can bend the elbows and take a back bend in your tree pose. Yes. Good. And reach the arms back up. Bring your hands to your heart. Pull the left knee into the chest. And we're going to start to transition our way, kicking back into warrior 3. Yes, our standing leg might be shaky, and that is what we want. We're getting stronger. Start to drop the back foot. Reach the arms up, crescent warrior. And then drop the back heel, open up warrior 2. And we spend some time on the other side working into the pose, and we're going to do the exact same thing here. So again, maybe close your eyes. Maybe see where you can do a little bit more in the pose. Pressing that back leg straight and strong. Don't let it become sleepy. And then coming back to that same intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. What is it that brought us here today? to go through these moves. And just thinking about that in your mind. What brought me here? 2 more breaths. And then start to straighten out the front leg. Reach forward, keeping the length in the right side of the body. Come forward, triangle pose. Getting that nice inner thigh, that hamstring stretch. Maybe wrapping the top arm over. Maybe taking the bottom arm up, holding a beach ball on the other side, using the obliques, the sides of the abs to keep us stable as we press the heels away from each other. All right. And then releasing the hands down. This time, walking both hands over to the left. We're going to roll up to stand. And then angle the toes out. Bend the knees. Elbows are bent. We come into what's called goddess pose. So pressing those knees open as we drop our butt towards the floor. Now let's move here. As you inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, elbows to knees, get low. Whoo! 3 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, get low. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, get low and hold it. Let's dance. Right heel off the mat. Set it down. Left heel off the mat. Set it down. We're going side to side for 4, 3, 2, 1. Both heels off the mat if you can. Keep sinking your butt down. Yes. Drop the heels. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, both hands over to the right foot. Step back into plank. And we hold. Good. Pulling those heels back. Top of the head forward. 4 breaths. Just holding in plank. Back into that stillness. And then press up and back, downward facing dog. We've got a little bit more work to do, and then we're going to take it down for stretchy time. So imagine you have a big old bushy tail sticking out behind you. Give your tail a shake. And then the last standing series, lift your right leg up and back. And drop your right heel towards the left side of your butt, opening up your hip. Now sometimes here we tend to give all of our weight over to the left hand. So see if you can give some of the love, the weight back to the right hand as you lift that knee up. And then kick the right leg back behind you again. This time shift forward, right knee, right elbow. Oh yeah. Kick it back. Let's do it again. Right knee, right elbow. Kick it back. Right knee into nose this time. Step the foot up. Rise up, warrior 2. So we know that this is the first side of our last standing sequence. So we can give it a little extra oomph. Good. Start to drop the right hand down. Come into side angle pose. Good. Now I'm pressing my bottom arm into my bottom leg to help me lift up here. And you can either stay here or start to walk the fingertips of the right hand forward. Maybe dance your way up into half moon pose. So my head, my heart, and my heel are about in one straight line. And I'm kicking the back wall away from me with my back foot. All right, last 3 breaths. Good. Start to bend into the standing leg. Make your way back into warrior 2. And then wrap the left hand, tuck it into the right hip crease. Flip the front palm, back bend, reverse warrior. Hold it, keeping the bend in the front knee. So creating a lot of space on the right side of the body. And then to come out of it, we're going to cartwheel our hands down to the floor and make our way through a vinyasa. This will be our last one of the night. Good. And in downward facing dog. See if you can take a bend in your knees, small. Drop your heels a little bit closer towards the floor and then straighten out your legs. Ooh, big calf and hamstring stretch. Last side. Lift your left leg up and back behind you. I'm going to flip around so I can see everybody. Start to drop left heel to right side of the bottom. Open up your hip. And sometimes when we're here, we tend to hold our breath. So come back into it. See where you might be tensing in the upper body and let it go. And then kick the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. As you shift forward into plank, left knee, left elbow. Kick it back. Let's do it again. Left knee, left elbow. Kick it back. Last time, left knee into nose. Step that foot up. Warrior two. And checking our front knee to make sure it's tracking over our second and third toe. We always want to have good form. I know I'm certainly always learning, no matter how much yoga I do. There's always new tips and tricks. Keeping our mind strong as well as our body. And then dropping that left hand down, coming into side angle pose. Okay. And you can stay here, or we can start to fly, walking the left fingertips forward, rising up, half moon. Woo, I'm losing it. There we go. And long line from the back heel to the top of the head. We'll take our 3 breaths. If you want to play with balance, you can hover your bottom hand off the mat. Maybe you can even grab your bottom ankle. I can't do that as I'm looking at a screen, so know where your body's at. Honor it. Yeah, come back into warrior two. And then take right fingertips into left hip as you flip the front palm. Reverse warrior, back bend. Good. And then last time, cartwheel the hands down. Make your way back into plank. And drop the knees. And then start to step your right foot outside your right hand. So notice that my knee is stacked over my ankle. And then I'm going to bring my hands up to the front thigh and press the knee forward. So hips come down, chest comes up, back bend. But it's not so much a back bend as it is just getting our hips towards the floor, opening up the front of the left hip flexor. But I'd rather you be up than slouchy. So getting into it. And if you want more here, you can reach back and grab the left foot. But if this doesn't feel natural, don't bother. It's not worth it. You're getting a good stretch either way. And then start to shift the weight back. Bring your hands down to the floor and kick the right foot forward for a hamstring stretch. If you're a splits practitioner, you can make your way into your variation of splits. If you're not a splits practitioner, stay wherever you are and let the upper body do the work. And especially if you have really tight hamstrings, this is a deep stretch. So it's going to tug and pull a lot. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Letting your forehead drop down towards your thigh. Good. Last breath. And then start to rebend into the front knee. Step it back. And let's switch sides. This time, step the left foot outside the left hand. Making sure ankle is underneath knee. Come up. I call this proposal. And then bend into that knee. Hips up. Sorry. Chest up. Hips down. Squeeze your tush. Support your low back. If you want more, reach back. Grab the right foot. And then start to shift the hips back. Bring your hands down to the floor. Kick the left leg forward. Coming into whatever variation of a hamstring stretch your body needs today. And sometimes here the left hip tends to sneak forward. See if you can keep pulling the left hip back and the right hip forward. And we're going to take our 5 breaths. Relaxing the shoulders. And then rebend into the front knee, step it back, drop the hips over to one side, root the feet into the mat, and we're gonna make our way onto our backs together as slowly as you possibly can. Coming all the way down. And once you make your way down onto your back, reach through the knees, grab the outer edges of your feet. Happy baby, release the hips, rock side to side. And especially if we've been sitting a lot or at home a lot, we haven't been as active, we really want to release our hips and our spine. So drawing your knees in towards your armpits, letting gravity help you with the work. You want to try and keep the back of the head rooted into the mat. And then go ahead and release the legs, pull the knees into the chest, give yourself a big hug, and then gently guide both knees over to the left for a spinal twist. And as you do this, it doesn't matter how far over towards the floor the knees go, you want to try and keep the shoulders rooted into the mat. And then start to pull the knees back through center, guide them over to the right. Thinking about the muscles around the spine releasing. And then start to draw the knees back through center. Wrap your forearms around your shins. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Curl yourself into a tiny yoga ball. We're going to engage every muscle together. And then we're going to release it all for the best part of yoga, our Shavasana, our corpse pose. So start to squeeze your fingers, squeeze your toes, pull the knees into the chest, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your belly, squeeze your shoulders, your forearms, squeeze your eyes shut, squeeze your lips together. Take a big inhale and hold it. Sip in even more air. Audible sigh, release everything, Shavasana. And I want you to really allow yourself to take up a lot of space here. So let your legs fall open to the sides. Let your palms face up. Backs of the shoulders release. And we're going to spend about 2 or 3 minutes here. So come into any position that feels comfortable for you. If you notice that you're having lower back pain, you can root your feet into the mat, mats width apart, and let your knees knock together. And once you come into that comfortable place, now we get to come back into our breath. So checking in with your breathing, noticing the quality of your breath. And where you might have the opportunity to breathe a little deeper, a little bit slower. Give your head a rock side to side, let the neck release. And then let the head rest back through center. And start to notice the back of your head heavy, supported by the mat. Relaxing the space across your brow. Relaxing your cheeks, your jaw, and your tongue. Finding a softness in the face. Relaxing the backs of the shoulders. And feeling the rise and fall of the chest, breathing a little bit deeper. And when we breathe deeper and slower, we're able to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the system of our nervous system that tells our body it's okay to rest, digest, slow down. So using our breath as a tool to tell our body it's okay. Allowing ourselves to just be here right now. And maybe even breathing deeper, feeling the rise and fall of the belly. And checking in with yourself, using your next few breaths to let go of any remaining tension or stress you are holding in your body or maybe your brain. Let it go. And just observe how you feel. Maybe you're still sleepy, hungry, tired, or happy. Just checking in with ourselves at the end of our practice. And then as we start to reintroduce movement, give your fingers and toes a wiggle. Pull the knees into the chest and start to roll over onto whatever side feels comfortable for you, finding ourselves in a little yoga ball on our side. Taking a moment here just to let the benefits of our practice settle in. And when you're ready, press the top hand into the mat. Bring yourself up into any seated position that's comfortable for you. And once you rise, bring the hands to thighs. We can let the eyes close and drop right ear to right shoulder. Come back through center, drop left ear to left shoulder. As we come back through center, stacking the head on top of the spine, we're going to take our last breath together. Big inhale and hold it. Draw your shoulders up by your ears. Sip in even more air. Audible sigh. Bring your hands together at heart center. Bowing your chin into your chest in gratitude for our practice, our bodies that allow us to practice, and our health that supports our bodies. Namaste. And we did a lot of twisting tonight, so make sure to drink a lot of water. Take good care of yourself. Again, I'm Laurel. It's been an absolute pleasure practicing with you. You know where to find me at the Jonathan Club once we're back in action. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Thank you so much.